Welcome to the Common App Masterclass. This course is designed to walk students and parents through the Common application with total clarity and confidence. The Common App can feel overwhelming at first glance. Dozens of questions, multiple sections, and a sense that every detail matters. But when you understand what admissions officers are actually looking for, the entire process becomes far more manageable. This masterclass breaks everything down into simple, actionable steps so families know exactly what to do, what to avoid, and how to present a student's story in the strongest possible way. You'll learn how each section functions, how colleges interpret the information you provide, and how to avoid the most common mistakes that cost students opportunities. Whether you're applying to 3 schools or 15, this guide ensures you complete the application with accuracy, strategy, and calm. By the end, you'll feel fully equipped to submit a polished, compelling Common App. The Common application serves as the central hub for more than 1,000 colleges, allowing students to complete one standardized application and send it to multiple institutions. Instead of filling out separate forms for each school, the Common App streamlines the process by collecting your personal information, academic history, activities, writing, and recommendations in one place. Colleges then receive this information and use it to understand who you are within the context of your school, family, and community. It's important to remember that the Common App is not just a form, it's a structured storytelling tool. Every section contributes to the narrative of your academic journey, your interests, your impact, and your potential fit on a campus. When completed thoughtfully, the Common App helps admissions officers see the full picture of a student, not just their grades or test scores. It's your opportunity to present a cohesive, authentic, and compelling application. When an admissions officer opens your application, they aren't just scanning for numbers. They're looking for a clear, organized snapshot of who you are as a student and community member. They review your academic rigor to understand the challenge level of your courses, not just your GPA. They examine your activities to see where you've invested your time, what roles you've taken on, and how you've made an impact. They read your writing to hear your voice, your perspective, and your ability to reflect. And they consider your context, your school environment, family background, and opportunities available to you. Admissions officers are trained to read quickly but deeply, connecting dots across sections to form a holistic understanding of your strengths. A well-completed Common App makes their job easier by presenting your story clearly and consistently. Your goal is to help them walk away thinking, I understand this student, and I want them here. In general, there are 7 core sections in the Common application that we have to pay close attention. We are going to cover them in detail. These sections are student profile, family, education, testing, your activities, writings and essays, and recommendation letters. Let's now discuss some of the common mistakes by students. Many students unintentionally weaken their applications by rushing through sections or treating the Common App like a simple form rather than a strategic document. One of the biggest mistakes is underselling activities, writing vague descriptions that fail to capture leadership, initiative, or impact. Another common issue is misreporting courses, especially when abbreviations or incorrect titles don't match the transcript. Students also frequently skip important context, such as family responsibilities or unique circumstances that shaped their high school experience. Weak essay structure is another pitfall. Students often focus too much on events and not enough on reflection or personal insight. Finally, many applicants underestimate how closely admissions officers read for consistency across sections. A rushed or incomplete application can send unintended signals. Avoiding these mistakes ensures your application feels polished, thoughtful, and aligned with what colleges actually want to understand about you. The profile section may seem straightforward, but it sets the foundation for how colleges understand your basic identity and background. This is where you'll enter your legal name, contact information, demographic details, and language proficiency. While it feels like simple data entry, accuracy matters. Colleges use this information for institutional reporting, communication, and understanding your personal context. Students should take their time to ensure everything matches official documents, especially names and addresses. The language section is also more important than many realize. It helps colleges understand your cultural background and any multilingual abilities you bring to campus. Even though this section doesn't require storytelling, it still contributes to the overall picture of who you are. Think of it as the cover page of your application: clean, correct, and consistent. Completing it carefully ensures the rest of your application flows smoothly and avoids unnecessary delays or verification issues later. Colleges rely on profile data to understand key aspects of your background and identity. Demographic information helps institutions track diversity, equity, and representation across their applicant pool. Language proficiency gives insight into your cultural experiences and communication strengths, especially if you speak multiple languages at home or in school. First-generation status, citizenship, and residency details help colleges identify students who may qualify for specific programs, scholarships, or support services. Admissions officers also use this section to understand the broader context of your life, not to judge, but to interpret your achievements within the opportunities available to you. For example, speaking multiple languages or navigating different cultural environments can demonstrate adaptability and resilience. While the profile section doesn't directly influence admissions decisions the way essays or activities do, it provides essential context that shapes how the rest of your application is read. Accurate, complete information ensures colleges understand your story clearly. The family section gives colleges important context about your household, including parent education levels, occupations, and family structure. This information helps admissions officers understand the environment you grew up in and the resources that may or may not have been available to you. For example, if neither parent attended college, that signals first-generation status, which many institutions actively support. Parent occupations can also provide insight into your responsibilities at home or the types of experiences that shaped your worldview. Sibling information helps colleges understand family dynamics, especially if you're the oldest, the youngest, or one of many children. None of this is used to penalize students. It's used to interpret your achievements fairly. A student balancing childcare responsibilities or contributing to the household may have a very different daily reality than someone with fewer obligations. The family section ensures colleges read your application with empathy and context. First-generation status is one of the most commonly misunderstood parts of the Common App. A student is typically considered first-gen if neither parent has earned a 4-year bachelor's degree. It doesn't matter if a parent attended college but didn't graduate, earned an associate degree, or completed a certificate program. The student still qualifies as first-general. Colleges value this information because first-generation students often navigate the admissions process with fewer built-in resources or guidance at home. Many institutions offer dedicated support programs, scholarships, and mentorship opportunities specifically for first-general students. Admissions officers also use this status to understand your accomplishments within the context of your family's educational background. Being first-gen is not a disadvantage. It's a meaningful part of your story that highlights resilience, initiative, and determination. Accurately reporting this information ensures colleges can recognize and support you appropriately throughout the admissions process. The education section is one of the most important parts of the Common App because it outlines your academic environment and the foundation of your high school experience. Here, you'll enter your school's name, location, counselor information, graduation date, and details about your school's grading system. You'll also report your GPA, class rank, if your school provides one, and the courses you've taken throughout high school. Colleges use this section to understand the rigor of your academic pathway and the opportunities available at your school. For example, some schools offer dozens of AP or IB courses, while others offer none. Admissions officers consider this context carefully. This section also includes information about dual enrollment classes, online courses, or alternative schooling experiences. Accuracy is essential, especially when matching course titles to your transcript. A well-completed education section helps colleges interpret your academic performance fairly and consistently. GPA and class rank are two of the most misunderstood metrics in college admissions and two of the most inconsistently reported. Let's start with GPA. Most high schools report both weighted and unweighted GPAs, but the scale and calculation method can vary dramatically. A weighted GPA gives extra points for honors, AP, IB, or dual enrollment courses, while an unweighted GPA treats all classes equally, typically on a 4.0 scale. Some schools cap weighted GPAs at 5.0, others go higher, and some don't weight at all. That's why families should never assume their student's GPA is directly comparable to someone else's. Class rank adds another layer of complexity. Some schools report it, some don't. Some use deciles or quartiles, others give exact rankings. And in highly competitive schools, even a student with a 4.0 GPA might not be in the top 10%. Colleges know this. That's why most selective institutions recalculate GPA using their own formulas. They strip out PE, arts, and electives, normalize weighting, and focus on core academic subjects. This allows them to compare students across different schools and systems more fairly. Bottom line, GPA and rank are important, but they're not absolute. What matters most is the rigor of the student's coursework in the context of what was available and how they performed relative to their peers. Families should focus less on the number and more on the story it tells about effort, growth, and academic challenge. That's what colleges are really looking for. Accurate course reporting is essential because admissions officers compare your listed courses directly with your transcript. Any mismatch, even small abbreviations, can create confusion or raise questions. Students should always spell out full course titles exactly as they appear on the transcript. AP Calculus AB, not Calc AB. And Honors English 12, not Eng 12H. This level of precision shows professionalism and prevents delays during application review. It also ensures colleges understand the rigor of your schedule. For example, Physics and AP Physics 1 communicate very different levels of challenge. If your school uses unique course names, keep them exactly as written. Admissions officers are trained to interpret them using your school profile. The goal is clarity. When your course list is clean, accurate, and aligned with your transcript, it strengthens your academic narrative and helps colleges evaluate your preparation for college-level work. Your senior year schedule sends a powerful message to colleges about your academic commitment. Even after you submit your application, colleges continue to monitor your performance and the rigor of your courses. A strong senior schedule demonstrates maturity, consistency, and readiness for college-level work. Avoid the temptation to take it easy or load your schedule with filler classes. Admissions officers can spot a senior slide instantly. Instead, aim for a balanced but challenging lineup that reflects your interests and strengths. If you're pursuing a STEM major, maintain strong math and science courses. If you're humanities-focused, continue with advanced writing, literature, or social science classes. Colleges want to see that you're still engaged and pushing yourself. A thoughtful senior schedule can even strengthen your application, especially if it aligns with your intended major. Treat this year as the final chapter of your academic story, one that should end strong. This slide highlights how small changes in course reporting can significantly improve clarity and accuracy. When a student writes Calc A or English 12, admissions officers must guess what level of rigor those courses represent. But when the student writes AP Calculus AB and Honors English 12, the rigor becomes immediately clear. This matters because colleges evaluate your academic choices within the context of what your school offers. Using full, official course titles ensures your application aligns perfectly with your transcript and avoids unnecessary questions from admissions offices. It also shows attention to detail, a trait colleges value. Think of your course list as a professional document, clean, precise, and easy to interpret. This example demonstrates how a simple shift from shorthand to full titles can elevate your academic presentation and help admissions officers understand the true strength of your coursework. With the rise of test-optional policies, students must make strategic decisions about whether to submit SAT or ACT scores. The key is understanding how your scores compare to the middle 50% ranges of admitted students at your target schools. If your score falls well within or above that range, submitting can strengthen your application. If it falls significantly below, withholding may be the better choice. Test optional does not mean test blind. Colleges will still consider strong scores when provided. But they also recognize that not all students have equal access to testing opportunities or preparation resources. A thoughtful test optional strategy focuses on maximizing your strengths. If your GPA, coursework, and activities are strong, and your test score doesn't reflect your academic ability, you may benefit from not submitting. The goal is to present the version of your application that best reflects your potential and readiness for college. The testing section allows you to self-report SAT, ACT, AP, and IB scores, which can streamline the process and reduce the need for official score reports until after admission. When reporting SAT or ACT scores, use score choice strategically. You can choose which test dates to send, allowing you to highlight your strongest performance. AP and IB scores are optional, but can reinforce academic strengths, especially in subjects related to your intended major. For example, a student applying to engineering who reports strong AP calculus or physics scores adds credibility to their academic preparation. Self-reporting also helps colleges see your full testing history without requiring immediate verification. Just be sure all information is accurate. Discrepancies can cause delays or jeopardize admission. This section is an opportunity to showcase your academic readiness, but only if the scores genuinely strengthen your application. Consider a student with a 3.9 GPA and a 1210 SAT applying to selective colleges. In this scenario, the GPA is strong and demonstrates consistent academic performance, but the SAT score falls below the typical range for many selective institutions. Submitting the score could unintentionally weaken the application by drawing attention to a metric that doesn't reflect the student's true academic ability. By choosing not to submit, the student allows admissions officers to focus on their strengths: rigorous coursework, strong grades, meaningful activities, and compelling writing. This case study illustrates the importance of evaluating your scores in context, rather than assuming that more information is always better. Test-optional policies empower students to make strategic choices. The goal is not to hide information, but to present the version of your academic profile that best supports your admission chances. The Activities section is one of the most influential parts of the Common App because it reveals how you spend your time outside the classroom. Admissions officers look for evidence of leadership, initiative, commitment, and impact, qualities that often predict success in college. A student's activities can sometimes outweigh test scores or even GPA because they show real-world engagement and personal growth. This section helps colleges understand what you care about, how you contribute to your community, and what kind of energy you'll bring to campus. Whether you're involved in service, athletics, creative work, research, or family responsibilities, what matters most is depth, not breadth. 10 shallow activities won't impress colleges as a few meaningful commitments where you made a difference. The Activities section is your chance to demonstrate who you are beyond academics and how you've chosen to invest your time and talents. The Common App organizes activities into 10 categories to help admissions officers quickly understand the type of involvement you've had. These categories include academic activities, service and volunteering, leadership roles, paid work, creative pursuits, athletics, research, family responsibilities, internships, and clubs or organizations. Categorizing your activities correctly ensures colleges interpret your involvement accurately and fairly. For example, working 20 hours per week at a job belongs under paid work, not clubs, and caring for siblings belongs under family responsibilities, not volunteering. These categories also help you think strategically about how to present your experiences. If you've been deeply involved in multiple areas, such as leadership, service, and academics, the categories help highlight your versatility. If your activities cluster in one area, that can signal passion and focus. Understanding these categories allows you to organize your experiences in a way that strengthens your overall narrative. Admissions officers read the activities section from top to bottom, which means the order of your activities matters. Your most impactful, meaningful, or time-intensive commitments should appear first. Leadership roles, long-term commitments, and passion-driven projects typically belong near the top. Activities that demonstrate initiative, such as founding a club, launching a project, or taking on significant responsibility, also carry weight. Time spent is important, but it's not the only factor. An activity where you made a measurable impact often outranks one where you simply participated. Think of your top 10 as a curated list rather than a complete inventory of everything you've ever done. Prioritizing strategically helps admissions officers immediately understand your strengths and values. When the first few activities are strong, clear, and well described, they set the tone for the rest of your application and make a powerful first impression. The difference between a weak and strong activity description often comes down to clarity, specificity, and impact. Weak descriptions tend to be vague, generic, and task-focused. They simply state what you did, not why it mattered. For example, tutored students in math tells an admissions officer almost nothing about your role, commitment, or results. Strong descriptions, on the other hand, highlight leadership, scale, and measurable outcomes. Tutored 12 peers weekly in algebra, improving test scores by 15%, immediately communicates initiative and impact. Admissions officers read thousands of activity entries, so the goal is to make yours stand out by being concrete and intentional. Use action verbs, quantify when possible, and emphasize results rather than duties. A strong description transforms an ordinary activity into evidence of responsibility, leadership, and growth. This is one of the simplest ways to elevate your application and help colleges understand the real value of your contributions. This example shows how a small shift in language can dramatically strengthen an activity description. Math tutor for classmates is technically accurate, but it lacks depth and doesn't communicate the significance of your involvement. The improved version, led weekly Algebra 2 tutoring sessions for 10 to 15 peers, created practice guides used by the entire class, paints a much richer picture. It shows leadership, led, consistency, weekly sessions, scale, 10 to 15 peers, and initiative, created practice guides. It also demonstrates that your work had a broader impact beyond one-on-one help. Admissions officers love to see students who take ownership of their roles and create solutions that benefit others. This example illustrates how to turn a simple activity into a compelling story of contribution. When you describe your activities with intention and detail, you help colleges see the full scope of your influence. Family responsibilities are often overlooked or underreported, yet they can be some of the most meaningful commitments a student has. The weak version, helped with siblings, doesn't capture the depth of responsibility many students carry at home. The stronger version, provided daily after-school care for 2 younger siblings, managed homework routines, meals, and transportation during parents' evening work shifts, communicates consistency, maturity, and real leadership. Colleges understand that family responsibilities can shape a student's schedule, limit extracurricular opportunities, and build important life skills. When described clearly, these responsibilities demonstrate reliability, time management, and compassion. They also help admissions officers understand your context and the demands you balance outside of school. This example shows that family commitments are not just valid activities, they are powerful indicators of character and resilience when articulated thoughtfully. Leadership roles are often undersold because students assume the title speaks for itself. But club president doesn't tell colleges anything about what you actually accomplished. The stronger version, elected president of environmental club, launched recycling initiative reducing campus waste by 30%, highlights both responsibility and measurable impact. Admissions officers want to see what you did with your leadership, not just the position you held. Did you start something new? Improve an existing program? Influence others? Solve a problem? This example shows how to turn a title into a narrative of action. By quantifying results and describing specific initiatives, you demonstrate initiative, problem solving, and the ability to mobilize others. Leadership is one of the most valued qualities in college admissions, and clear descriptions like this help colleges understand the depth of your involvement and the difference you made. Paid work is one of the most respected activities in the eyes of admissions officers because it demonstrates responsibility, independence, and real-world experience. But many students undersell their jobs by writing vague descriptions like worked at grocery store. The stronger version, 20 hours per week cashier, trained 4 new employees, managed closing procedures, and reconciled register totals, highlights commitment, trust, and leadership. Working 20 hours per week while balancing school is a significant accomplishment. Training new employees shows that supervisors trusted you, and managing closing procedures demonstrates reliability and attention to detail. Colleges understand that paid work often requires time management and sacrifice, and they value students who contribute to their families or save for college. This example shows how to turn a job into a compelling demonstration of maturity and initiative. When described well, paid work can be one of the strongest parts of your application.